Have you ever felt like you were missing something after getting something you really wanted? That sense of accomplishment that didn't make you feel good, but instead made you feel bad, like the prize wasn't worth the work. For Schopenhauer, this is the riddle of existence, shown by the pendulum of life. Our question is, where can we find real peace if we live in this middle ground? And why do we want so much if there's always a hole at the end? Schopenhauer makes us think about how our wants and complaints are controlled. We know that happiness can leave us unfulfilled, so why do we look for it so much? Also, what makes us want something we already have, even if the pleasure was only in the moment? Schopenhauer talks about the will, which is a force that is blind and never stops. There is no logical reason why we want more. We are driven by a primal urge that always takes us there. Each time we reach a goal, we feel temporarily relieved, but soon the wheel turns again, pushing us toward the next goal. Every time the desire is satisfied, it grows, like a never-ending circle. In his book, The World as Will and Representation, Arthur Schopenhauer says that this never-ending search is what makes us human. You always want more, no matter what you do, and what makes us keep looking for peace if we can never find it. Let's use a thought experiment to show this. Take the role of a man who is thirsty and lost in the desert. He can't stand the pain of being hungry and the burning heat of the sun. Once he finds a refuge and has enough, his short-term happiness goes away quickly. He knows that he is still going through a lot of pain. Instead of being afraid of the water, people are afraid of being eaten or not being able to get out. What seemed like a relief at first is now a new kind of pain. This is what Schopenhauer meant by the never-ending circle. Think about the person who works hard every day to be successful at work. They work all the time because they think they will be truly happy when they get promoted or buy their dream car. When he does reach these goals, though, he starts to feel a little restless. His fear is that he will lose everything he has worked for. Success, which he once thought was the highest point, is now just another step on the ladder of desire. Have you noticed that reaching your goals doesn't always make you happy? If this spoke to you, please like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep talking about what makes us want things and how to break the loop. What happens when there are no more wants to chase? Alan Watts, a philosopher, said that the search for meaning never ends, because whenever we think we have victory, we learn it was all a lie. Then the question comes up, what happens when desire goes away? Existential void shows up. Life loses its shine and becomes boring when there are no more goals or accomplishments to look forward to. Baron de Boulogne said that boredom is the worst addiction because it makes us want anything, even pain, to break the routine. Freud looked into this idea in his theory of the repetition compulsion, which says that to get out of a state of inertia, we are always looking for triggers, even ones that are bad for us. It makes sense that a lot of people mess up their lives when things are going well. People are always pushing each other to do better. Like the lover who cheats on his partner, or the businessman who makes risky investments. But Schopenhauer tells us that this is all just a dream. Advertising tells us that things will make us happy forever. But after a while, the cologne stops being new, the car stops being useful, and the house stops being unique. Find a way out of this loop is the hard part. Is there a way out of this cycle, or are we all destined to live in this never-ending dance where we can't see what we want? Anyone can climb the peak, but what's left when you get to the top? A lot of the time, the expectation is stronger than the result. The hard parts of the trip are what keep us going, while the end goal leaves us empty and without a reason to live. This is the reason why so many people feel like they have no purpose in life when they reach their goals. David Foster Wallace said something very important about this situation. You will never find a lasting peace if you worship your own desire. It will kill you. Even more blunt was Schopenhauer, whose view was harsh. He thinks that life not only doesn't give us true happiness, but it also makes us want more, only to be let down over and over again. This cruel process isn't just used to take things. Like, think about love. At the start of a love, we give the other person an idealized picture of what happiness would be like. But over time, the dream falls apart, and things that seemed perfect start to show their flaws. What was once a very strong light starts to weaken. Then, you have to decide whether to start the desire over or find a new target for it. This same reasoning applies to modern society, which encourages us to buy things all the time. Marketing doesn't sell things, it sells hopes and dreams. It's not just a phone. The new one is a promise of connection and status. The expensive car is more than just a way to get around. It's a way of life. And the body you shape at the gym isn't just a sign of health. It's also a defense against feeling unsafe. The pleasure goes away, though, once these objects are taken. There is always someone who wants the perfect body. The phone stops being cool, and the car stops being useful. After that, new worries and goals show up. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroscientist, says that our brains are set up to want things, but not to enjoy them for long amounts of time. The neurotransmitter dopamine, which is linked to motivation and happiness, peaks before we get what we want and then drops. If you want to use a different word, this one would be anticipation. But what if there's nothing more to want? It turns into emptiness. Without things to do or problems to solve, boredom sets in like a disease that you can't hear. It gets boring when the same things happen over and over again, and your mind begs for something new to spice it up. With this abyss in mind, Nietzsche said, "He who has a reason for living can endure almost anyhow." What do you do when the why goes away? When all our wants and needs are met, but we still feel like there's something missing? This state, as Baudelaire put it, is the worst of all sins, because it makes us face the harsh truth. We don't know how to live without something to chase. So the cruel question comes up. Are we doomed to this endless oscillation? Is there a way to stop this never-ending cycle? Schopenhauer's harsh clarity means that he doesn't give us any simple answers. For him, the will, which is the crazy force that controls us, can't be tamed. All we can do is become aware of how bad it is. Being aware of this is both freeing and shackling at the same time. When we see this process at work inside us, what does it make us feel? At first, there is a bitter uprising, the sensation of being stuck in a game where the result is already known. We are taught in modern society to see happiness as a goal to be reached and a prize for those who work hard enough. Do more, love more, and follow your dreams. But dreams are really just golden traps. They make you feel full, but all they do is make you hungry again. William Irvine, a philosopher and Stoic expert, says that society benefits when we are unhappy. When you're unhappy, it's easy to get you to believe that you need something. We keep buying promises without understanding that we are just parts of a system that profits from our neediness. For instance, ads don't tell us to be happy, but to be almost happy. Enough to keep chasing a goal that can't be reached. You buy the trip of your dreams, but you quickly learn that the fun was in planning it, not going on it. You get the right partner, but you miss the thrill of the conquest. As soon as you reach the top of the mountain, your eyes start to look for another peak. Like mice in a wheel, we think that moving is the same thing as making progress. What if we tried to stop, though? What if we refused to dance and fought the urge? Boredom is there, sneaky and mean. I'm not just bored, I'm in a terrible psychological state. When Kierkegaard thought about being bored, he said that the worst pain is not suffering itself, but the lack of it. When we don't feel any pain, we feel like we have nothing to do. That might be why so many people are desperately looking for anything to take their minds off of things, like games, social media, or simple fun. It is better to be busy with unimportant things than to be alone with the spiritual emptiness. We can hear our own pain when the world is quiet, which tells us that, deep down, we don't know who we are without our wants. What we want is an important part of who we are. It was Pascal who said that man is unhappy because he can't sit still by himself in a room. Nothing can take our minds off of how small we are when we are alone. But there is a funny side to all of this. We don't play the same way when we know how the game works. We start to laugh at our own delusions when we understand that happiness is short-lived and that boredom is inevitable. That laughing might be a way to free yourself. If you can't stop the pendulum, you might have to learn to dance to its beat without thinking it will ever stop. We've come to a bitter crossroads. Where is the safety net if desire leads to unhappiness and lack of desire leads to paralyzing boredom? Schopenhauer doesn't tell us what to do. There are no easy or comforting answers that he offers. He only shows a few ways out, but they all taste like giving up something. Schopenhauer said that art is the first source of comfort, not because art gives us a permanent escape, but because it gives us a break from the cycle of human suffering for a short time. We lose touch with ourselves when we enjoy a masterpiece, like a Beethoven symphony, a Caravaggio picture, or a Dostoevsky book. We leave ourselves behind, forget about small things that bother us, and ignore the will's constant requests. Art is a rare form of relaxation that lets us think about life without wanting more. But art costs money just like everything else. This morphine only lasts a short time. The show is over, the last chapter is read, and the painting looks like it has been seen before. And we need another hit, another escape, like someone who is addicted to something that they can never get enough of. Schopenhauer knew that this high level of numbness could not last forever. Schopenhauer pointed to a more extreme road that not many people are willing to take, giving up will and desire and running away from the game of life completely. He believed that the only real way to stop the cycle of pain was to kill desire at its source, drawing from Buddhist and Christian asceticism. But how can someone just stop wanting? What can we say about the urge to want, possess, feel, and be, which is at the heart of our existence? People who try to go this way are in this tough spot. Some ascetics are successful. These are monks who live alone, saints who give up their world desires, and regular people who find a way to break free from the chains of desire. But because of all the noise in society, this giving up is almost impossible for most of us. There are always things around us that distract us and tell us of what we don't have. There's one more cruel thing. Trying to give up something is already a desire. The longing for inner peace, freedom, and a life without pain. The desire not to desire. We get caught in the trap of desire again. We get more caught up in it, the more we try to get away from it. Putting out a fire with gasoline is not a good idea. The very act of trying to silence the will shows it in another way. Nietzsche made fun of this attempt to escape because he hated Schopenhauer's resigned despair. He taught that life, in all its pain and chaos, should not be denied but should be praised. If we are stuck with the pendulum, let's dance with it, accept that pain is a part of life, and give ourselves over to wanting, while knowing that it will lead to frustration. Maybe the only way to break free from this loop is to learn how to dance with the pendulum without thinking it will ever stop. We've come to a bitter crossroads. Where is the safety net if desire leads to unhappiness and lack of desire leads to paralyzing boredom? Schopenhauer doesn't give us easy answers to trick us. He does not offer easy solutions or reassuring claims. Just a few escape ways are shown, and they are all full of giving up things. But art costs money, just like everything else. It's a morphine that doesn't last long. The show, the book, and the painting all come to an end, and we need another hit, another escape, like someone who is addicted to something that they can never get enough of. Schopenhauer knew that this numbing power could not last forever. What do you think? Life seems to swing back and forth, but is there a way to stop it? Send this movie to someone you think needs to see it, like it, and subscribe to the channel if you liked it. Let's continue to ask questions and learn together.